Hello there everybody and welcome along to the Christmas special which literally nobody asked for, but we're going through with it anyway. It's biology from the bedroom, of course. The only podcast which gives you the honest lowdown on what it's really like to work in academia. Back in the spring we put the research leaders of tomorrow through their biological paces before crowning Mr. Sam England as the brightest young PhD student in the country. But for this festive spectacular we've gone all out to bring you the dentist menagerie of biological brain boxes you will find anywhere on this YouTube channel. Straight from the University of Bristol's thriving PhD community, we have molecular biologist Fran Gidley, sensory ecologist Costa Mansa, and ethologist Adriano Vanderlink. So without further ado, for the very first time, using the technological powers that be, let's beam all three of them into my bedroom.
Skyping home for Christmas, and I can't wait to see those faces.
How are we all doing, folks?
Hi.
Hiya.
Now, Fran, let's start off with Fran first, because I think we need to explain your inclusion in the podcast a little bit more than most, perhaps, because you're actually technically a biochemist, aren't you? Can you explain exactly what you do in a nutshell?
So I work on computational protein design. So I make modular protein systems on a computer. So kind of like protein Lego, and then I put these proteins I put the DNA for them into bacteria and use the bacteria to make these proteins that didn't exist before. And basically they're like Lego scaffolding for proteins, so you can put biological proteins on top of them and kind of see how cells respond to things like drug targets and possible therapeutics.
Right, so that might be important for developing new drugs in the future, is that right?
Yeah, and some of the coronavirus vaccines have kind of been based on these computationally designed proteins, so that kind of gives you an idea of what you can do with them.
Goodness me, well, I'm glad we invited you now. It could be very, very useful indeed. But now, I mean, proteins are the building blocks of life, aren't they? But we also must remember that interactions occur at all biological levels. And Adriano, you're studying biology at a completely different biological level, at the level of interactions between organisms, because you study social insects,
yes,
right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
In a nutshell, I would say that my work entails what has been going on in the world in the last year, because what I do is studying how immunity actually also has an important role on the social level in ants. And this really reminds me of COVID, because essentially, I mean, ants really do the same. They got social exclusion. So if someone has got a disease, gets out of the social context, or they get cured if it is valuable to do so. But then, we use speech, but they use the many ways of chemical communication to tell what is going on.
Yes. So, because it's always important to consider the sensory capabilities that we're not able to perceive. And Costa, you study a completely different type of sensory system, and that's electrical communication. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it took me quite a long time to decide exactly what to call myself, because there aren't exactly many people that do what I do. So I'm an electrical ecologist, and I'm an invertebrate electrical ecologist in the freshwater medium, which really does single me out as an N of 1. Basically, I'm trying to find some freshwater invertebrates that are electrically sensitive, because at the moment we don't really know any, apart from the crayfish, which I don't have any of. So far it's going very well.
Yeah, because you're currently studying diving beetles, is that right?
The intention wasn't actually to study diving beetles, but I had lots of different animals to do experiments on, and one very large diving beetle, and that one very large diving beetle ate all of my other animals.
Now, as it's a Christmas special, I don't think this Biology from the Bedroom podcast would be complete without a bit of academic decadence. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Head of School of the University of Liverpool and world-leading worm parasitologist. It's time to beam in Professor Mark Viney.
Skyping home for Christmas, and I can't wait to see those faces.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Benito. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, you study worms, but what actually is a worm? Because it's actually a more complicated term than what you'd actually think, isn't that right?
Yes, I was a bit heavy for a Sunday morning, though, Benito. I mean, I think worm is just a body shape. Snakes are worm-like in one sense. So, nematodes are worms, annelids are worms. So nematodes are roundworms. As anybody who's been an undergraduate at Bristol will have learned if they attended my lectures, I hope.
Yeah. Costa, you knew that, right?
Yeah, I came to the first one.
Yeah, okay.
That'll be enough.
So would you say that anything which is tubular is a worm?
I feel I'm being put into a corner here, Adriano. I think.
I don't know, like spaghetti.
Well, I think that's kind of, as a first approximation, that's okay. I mean, the other thing actually, Benito, is I do study parasitic worms. I mean, in our field, the other term for this is a helminthologist. And of course, there's a YouTube channel you know about, Benito.
Oh, come on! I was going to mention that eventually, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Okay, all right. Okay.
The focus of your research is mainly on nematodes. There's actually a very impressive fact, though, isn't there? That if you, I don't know whether this is true or not, but if you took everything away from the planet except nematodes, the shape of the Earth would still be intact.
That's right. It's actually a quote. There's a guy called Nathan Cobb. I think in 1914, an American, he wrote this document, a paper, in fact, and he made the point there that if you took away all matter from the planet, the outline of everything would exist. All the animals and all the plants, because of all the parasitic nematodes they have, would still exist, and all environments have nematodes in. So you'd have an outline of everything, which I think is quite a profound view of the world.
Yeah, I guess that's global warming for you. Anyway.
Okay, no comment.
Focusing on the parasitic worms, how prevalent are they in society today?
In human populations, until relatively recent, it was normal for most people in the world to have nematode parasites. I mean, they're relatively rare in the developed West these days for reasons of sanitation. But I suspect many people listening to this show might have been in bed and woken up with an itchy bottom, and that could well be a pinworm in the bottom of their...
Well, that's what I was going to say, yes.
Sorry.
I think I might have told you about this, or I think I must have already told you about this.
No.
Not that it's an anecdote that I spread around very often. But yeah, I remember very vividly when I was 7 years old, waking up one morning and there just being all these wriggly things on my bed sheets.
Oh, you never mentioned that. That's gross.
Yeah. Anyone else had worms here? I don't want to make this all about me.
Do you know, Benito, the way you diagnose a pinworm infection in kids?
Embarrassingly, I do actually, but I'll let you explain it.
Well, why didn't you tell me? Did it involve sellotape?
It involves sellotape, yes.
Okay, yeah. So what you do is you put some sellotape, basically over the anus, and you push it on, and then you pull that off, and then you put that bit of sellotape on a microscope slide, and then you look for nematodes or nematode eggs, the sellotape test. So if a parent ever comes at a child with sellotape, that's probably what's going to go on.
Merry Christmas, everyone. But anyway, seeing as though you want to talk about it so much, let's speak about your YouTube channel.
The Helmholtz's Guide to the Classical Organ.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah, that's the only one I've got.
Because it's really taking off, isn't it?
It's taking off in a niche way, I think I would say. But and to be honest, actually, it's got more organ than helmethology at the moment. And I think there is a link, Benito, as tenuous as some of the links you've been making between biology and helmethology and organ playing. Because on organs, you have one of the stops you have is called a mutation stop, and of course, in biology, mutations are very important as well. So that's my link between the two. I need to develop a bit more. I also think I need to find more links, to be honest.
And organs have a very conserved morphology across brands, I suppose. That's another link.
Organs across... What sort of organs, Costa, sorry?
Yeah, the
brands.
Playable organs are the same across all the different kinds of organ that you can get.
Oh, heaven! Oh, no! That's outrageous, Costa.
Okay, that's completely wrong.
Oh, gosh. Oh, God, I'm feeling lightheaded at that. No, Costa, I'm sorry. I completely disagree with that. That's yes. I'll send you a book about.
Now, here on Biology from the Bedroom, we want to highlight instances where things haven't quite gone to plan, right? Times when we've been made to feel as academics like total fools, or when you just feel like giving up on everything. And Adriano, has there ever been any instances where things haven't quite gone to plan for you?
That's really kind of you to call me out as first one. Really, the only thing that comes to my mind right now is just a couple of weeks ago, I was ready to start my first experiment of my PhD. Essentially, what happened is that I was so ready to start and everything, and then realized that actually is way harder than I thought. The main point of my study was to collect ants from the nest to infect them, but if I'm not even able to get them and collect them, it's going to be pretty hard to do whatever needed with them. And so, I had to abort the experiment, and now I'm rethinking the whole experimental design.
What were you going to infect them with, Adriano?
With Metarhizium brunel, which is essentially a entomopathogenic fungi. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a nematode?
No nematodes. No, I'm sorry. No. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Definitely a bad choice, but you know.
Well, if you're redesigning your experiment, just think kindly of nematodes at this Christmas season.
I'm already over. Yeah, that's a very kind offer. I'll consider it.
It's not an offer. I'm not offering nematodes.
Fran, do you have any times where something hasn't quite gone to plan?
Something quite stupid I did the other day was I was running an experiment basically measuring the light absorption of some of my proteins to try and characterize them, and I was running it for a good 3 hours without having turned the light on inside the measuring instrument. So it was just measuring the darkness. I was like, these graphs are very flat. Yeah, it was a Monday.
Probably, Fran, it's important to have baseline data.
Nice control.
We've got some really thorough baselines now.
Yeah.
So
That definitely wasn't a light bulb moment, was it? Costa, any other disasters other than your loss of beetles?
I had a few insects in a small pond inside my lab, and I figured that they needed to eat Daphnia, and so I went online and bought Daphnia pellets and started feeding them Daphnia pellets over several days. They didn't seem to be eating that many of them, so I just kept giving them more and more and more, and eventually the concentration of whatever I put in ended up killing all the animals I had. And then I stopped using the Daphnia pellets, and then very recently discovered that Daphnia pellets are not pellets made of Daphnia. They're pellets made for Daphnia.
Oh, how?
Yeah. And presumably, but now also, Costa, you realise now that birdseed doesn't grow birds.
But anyway, I mean, Mark, surely, as an esteemed academic, surely nothing that ridiculous has ever happened to you during your career.
I mean, really, Benito, you don't know I don't know where to start. I mean, basically, I think actually, one thing I'm slightly ashamed that this happened, but it's kind of, it's an example of what comes out of your mouth when you're not really thinking. It's when I was teaching actually in Bristol, probably not around the time you were an undergraduate, Benito. And so I was trying to get some discussion going, and I said, "Come on, ask anything you want. There's no such thing as a stupid question." And a student put their hand up and said something, and I said, "No, that is a stupid question." And afterwards, I felt really quite bad about that because it really wasn't the right thing to say. Although it was a really stupid question, and I thought the third year student to be asking that at that stage in their academic career, it wasn't looking good. I've since moved institutions, and I haven't been let near
That's
third
why
year.
you're in Liverpool now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, here on Biology from the Bedroom, as you very well know, we like to put our guests through their paces, right? And we do that by putting you through the cryptic question clock quiz.
Oh, cryptic question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Cryptic question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Cryptic question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be?
Now, this is a section of the show where we get our guests to answer as many biological related questions as they can in 60 seconds. But there's an added twist, and that is the cryptic question. Or, as it is the case, as it's the festive Christmas special, then it only makes sense for it to be the Christmas question.
Oh, Christmas question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Christmas question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Christmas question, where's it gonna be? Where's it gonna be?
So one of the answers to the questions I'm gonna give you is also an answer to a question in a non-biology related area, in this case, relating to Christmas, right? Now these are pretty unheard of times in the history of biology from the bedroom, right? We've never had more than one guest on the show before. So we're going to have Costa, Fran and Adriano, the 3 postgraduates, on a team, and they'll be competing against the professor. Postgrad against the professor. Damn. Why didn't I think of that line earlier? Okay, so Costa, Fran, Adriano, are you ready to start the cryptic Christmas question clock quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, your time starts now. Which 4-letter word amphibian begins with F and ends with G?
Frog.
Correct. The DNA nucleotide base beginning with the letter T stands for what?
Thiamine.
Correct. In what organ would you find the sinoatrial node?
Heart.
Correct. In aerobic respiration, the cycle also known as the citric acid cycle is named after which famous biochemist?
Krebs.
Correct. To what insect order do beetles belong to?
The Coleoptera.
Correct. The figure of 8 routine honeybees perform to signal the presence of food resources is known by what name?
Waggle dance.
Correct. Basidiomycota and zygomycota are all types of what?
Fungi.
Correct. The endosperm is a tissue found in what part of a plant?
Oh wait, no, the seed.
Correct.
Yes.
Random variation of allele frequency in the population is known as genetic what?
Drift.
Correct. Very...
Okay, buzz it. Can I buzz in?
Yes.
That's a Christmas question. It's snowdrift. Which you have at Christmas.
A good valiant attempt, Mark, but I'm afraid that's not the cryptic question that I have on my Word document.
Okay.
Let's not steal the glory from this incredible team, because I can officially reveal that you've got 9 points, which was all of them correct, which actually means that that's the highest score that we've ever had on the cryptic question clock quiz. So, Mark Viney, are you ready to face the cryptic Christmas question clock quiz?
I am. With some trepidation, I hasten to add.
In that case, your time starts now. How many legs does a spider typically have?
8.
Correct. What chemical element is found in all proteins but not carbohydrates?
Nitrogen.
Correct. Name 3 species of British finch.
Golden, tufted, and I hate birds. Come on, I have no idea.
Okay. In genetic engineering, what is the name of the most commonly used DNA vector?
Oh, puck.
Incorrect. In mammals, what are the primary cells involved in the humoral immune response?
B cells. Plasma cells.
Correct. In what year did Costa begin his undergraduate biology degree?
It would be probably 4 or 5 years ago, which would make it 2015.
Correct.
Ding, ding, ding. Can I interrupt?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
this is the Christmas answer.
Oh,
Isn't that
okay.
the year that Nadia Hussein won the 6th British Bake Off, and her birthday is on Christmas Day?
no! That's brilliant. That's
Costa, is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
I could tell you, he's got the cryptic question! Congratulations!
I don't even know what is going on.
Oh, Christmas question, there it is, Christmas question, there it is, Christmas question, there it is.
But at the moment, we've got 7 seconds of this time remaining. So, Mark, are we ready again?
yes.
Okay. Rabbits, hares, and pikas belong to which mammalian order?
Lagomorphs.
Correct. The common name of the UK invasive
Yeah.
species Impatiens glandulifera is Himalayan what?
Not weed.
Incorrect.
No, dunno.
Incorrect. It's Himalayan balsam.
But Costa, amazing Costa. Can you just run through why that was a
Yeah,
Christmas
I
question
think
again?
it was.
Actually,
Because Nadia Hussein, who obviously won the 6th British Bake Off, as we all know, she celebrates her birthday on the day she was born, obviously, which happens to be Christmas Day.
I'm just getting through my earpiece that we can't give you any extra points for that, but I mean, well done, nevertheless. Jolly good. But Mark Viney, at the end of that, I'm afraid to say that the postgraduates have beaten you because you got a total of 5 points. 5 versus 9 there.
Okay, that's fine. But they got 3 each.
Yeah,
just to be
that's
clear.
true.
Is that right?
That's true. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Should we make things a little bit more academic? Let's give Mark a chance to redeem himself.
I don't need redemption, Benito.
Because I want to introduce you my new game that I've invented, which is Guess the Host. Right, as a parasitologist, right, you're very familiar with the parasites themselves, but I wonder whether you're as familiar with the hosts that these parasitize. So, I've scoured the internet to find an obscure parasite, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a description, a biological description of the host. The name of the parasite is Ascaris delio. Here is the description of the host. The host which this species parasitizes has deep spiritual connections. Its key distinguishing features are a broad, ruffed mane consisting of cream and brown coloured pelage. It has a mixed mating strategy and has opportunistic and scavenging tendencies, allowing it to avoid competition from several larger competitor organisms.
Okay. Well, I was kind of wondering if he was going to be a Tasmanian devil from what you were saying, but until you got to the competitor species, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a mammal of some sort. I'm going to say lion.
Lion.
Yeah.
Was that the name of the host? I can tell you no. It wasn't the name of the host. The correct name of the host was Noel Edmonds. Never mind. Anyway, for the next game, we're going to need someone who has a particular fondness for eusocial Hymenoptera and has an acute hearing for regional acoustics. Adriano, I think that's you.
Okay, yeah, of course.
So what I've done, Adriano, is I've spent a lot of time in the field recording the sounds of various insects. And that has allowed me to come up with this very special game, which I call Mexicans.
Mexican, Mexican, Mexicans, Mexican, Mexican, Mexicans, Mexican, Mexican, Mexicans, Mexican, Mexican, Mexicans.
With an A, okay? That's a very different game. So, all you need to do, Adriano, is listen to the sounds of these 4 insects, and all you need to do is to identify the ant, which just so happens to be Mexican. Insect A. Insect B. Insect C. Insect D.
Let's go, baby.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
Any thoughts, Fran?
I think it's insect D, right?
You think so?
Ian? Okay, final answer?
I think so, yeah.
I'm afraid that's incorrect, Adriano. Insect D was actually a Eurasian click beetle on a Mexican exchange. Normally, we like to end the show on a bit of music. Fran, do you have a favourite Christmas song that you would like to end the show with?
I'm quite a big fan of Boney M's Mary's Boy Child.
That is a good choice. Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, obviously, because this is a budget podcast, we don't have any of the copyrights permissions to any of these songs. But luckily for us, singing us out for Biology from the Bedroom Christmas Special 2020, we've got Fran Gidley with Mary's Boy Child. Take it away, Fran.
You're not getting me to do that, Benito.
Oh. Well, thank you to the 4 of you for coming on Biology from the Bedroom, and best of luck with all of your research.
Thank you for having us, Benito.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Been a
actually.
pleasure.
Yeah,
It's
thank
been,
you.
Well, that's all we have time for here at Biology from the Bedroom. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more wildlife and science content. But in the meantime, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next global pandemic. But just as a final note, Professor Mark Viney, if you could just summarise 2020 in just one word, what would that be?
well, I think, Benito, it would be unprecedented.
Yay! All right, see everybody, goodbye!